Christ's work was very unique. The whole thing was a very unique thing. It was planned in such a manner that he was to be born in a place. It was very humble, because he came to teach us humility. The word teaching in the English language means telling about, talking about. But when I say teach, I mean create, to activate within us humility. Actually, he came on this earth, first of all, to create a space within us, at the Agnya chakra, by removing the hurdles of the ego. He had to talk of humility that time, because Romans were ruling and they were very arrogant, very crude, uncouth, underdeveloped, we should say, not at all evolved. So this ego of Romans affected everyone whom they ruled, because when you have somebody as an ideal before you, and always people see who dominates them, and such person becomes their ideal. So you start imbibing that kind of a character within yourself. In those circumstances, Christ was born. But he was not only born just for Romans or for anyone, but he was born for the whole world. Because ego had started growing in human beings at that time, and had developed quite a lot as far as the Romans were concerned. And that demarcated the way human beings were going on. So they had to be controlled first of all, and Christ had to come at a time where a balance. So the first thing that was said about Christ throughout in all these music and songs you have heard now is that peace on earth. He came to create peace on earth. That's only possible when you are in balance. First of all. Secondly, when you are realized. Both things should be there. If only you get your realization and there is no balance in you, there cannot be peace. But peace never means in any way is a personality that recedes, runs away from situations, escapes. It does not want to face the reality. Never means that. Christ is pictured very differently from what he was. He was the strongest personality which you could have, the heaviest man. And he would not stand any nonsense. Nobody could take liberties with him. But he would not himself take liberties with others. Of course, no question. Extremely compassionate, extremely kind, but very powerful. This is the balance. So he came on this earth to create peace within us. On this earth there is no peace. Why? What's wrong? It's only the human beings are wrong. Where? Within yourself. Who is violent? Human beings are violent to each other. Ego developed subtler ways and subtler ways. Then provocative ways started coming up also from the super ego. Sly methods from the super ego. The conflict started. And at that time, to overcome that conflict, the best thing was to create a space in Agnya, in the center, in thoughtless awareness. That's how Christ had to come on this earth. The birth is very, very symbolic. Because he is nothing but Chaitanya, he is nothing but the word, as you call it, Logos. I don't know what all words you have got in language. The Shabda, as they call it, the Omkara. He was to be born in this way because he had no body. And the subtlest of subtle he had to be. Because the work was very subtle, sukshma. That's why he was born like that. It's very poetic to see him lying down in a manger for people. But look at this. Now see, a little child put in the manger, no comfort. Can there be a comfort in a manger? Think like that. All the Christian nations are after their comforts. Aren't we? What we think is not comfortable, it should be comfortable. Christians should never seek comfort. That is one of the messages of Christ's birth. If they seek comfort, then they are away from Christ. Because he was born in a manger. No comfort was provided for him. But that doesn't mean that you should assume some sort of a funny habitation. It doesn't mean that also. I mean, I have to tell the other side of it. You see. Copying him is not the way. It's not the way by copying him that you will become Christ, but by imbibing his qualities within you. It's a very, very concrete thing I wanted to tell you today. It's nice to talk of Christ's birth, be happy about it, sing songs, go into a mood like that, but really I tell you, it's a very symbolic thing for all of us to know that he slept in a manger. What about Christ within us? You are not going to be happy with yourself, with your being, with your spirit, unless and until you create a manger of very soft thistles. You yourself, you are not going to enjoy it. You are creating a beautiful manger for Christ. To create the peace on earth. We have to be peaceful. To be peaceful, one has to be humble. This is the message of Christ. Humble. If we become humble, peace will come. Humble is a good word. I don't know if it explains what it means. Humble means not asking for your own comfort, but comfort of others. And Christ came on this earth to expand your present. So Christ, who is the present Christ, today, who is born in you, is to be looked after. Is not the Christ of the Bible, but the Christ of your heart, which is born within you, is to be looked after. Bible is so symbolic that it will take years and years for people to understand. It's too symbolic for you. But at least you can understand it. But other human beings cannot understand. So one has to only understand through your own spirit. That is the Christ born within you, which must be looked after. May God bless you. Today we all Sahaja Yogis are standing on the brink of the ocean of humanity, where we have to face the problems of human beings. Otherwise, in the nature there are no problems. They are also already solved. So one has to understand that it's not just a movement of few people, chosen people, just to achieve self-realization. But it's a big revolution which has to bring forth the beauties of human beings, the glories of human beings, the proof of divinity, of divine power, and of God Almighty. We have to now face that multitude of people who are absolutely ignorant compared to you, who have not known the knowledge of God, who are either lost into the darkness of ignorance or are burning in the fire of ego. We have to transform this world into a new world, a beautiful world which you all are enjoying, to be established on this earth, for which we have to prepare ourselves. So far, Sahaja Yoga means blessings. If somebody is less blessed, they ask me questions, how is it, Mother, we haven't got this when we are praying to you? Why did it not work out? It should have happened. After all, we are worshipping you, so how is it that my son did not get the job? So, as if it's sort of some debts have to be paid to all the Sahaja Yogis by Sahaja Yoga. That sort of a attitude has been so far towards Sahaja Yoga of not all of you, I must say, but in the minds there's lurking always a desire to know why, when we are Sahaja Yogis, why should it happen to us? Now you've seen that God has blessed you. Some people had very miserable married life. They couldn't understand why they had to have a miserable married life. Some had some misfortunes and some had some diseases also after coming to Sahaja. So there has to be understanding that Sahaja Yoga is for correcting your life, for putting you on solid basis, on proper foundations, to make you great people, as if it gets you immune to all these mishappenings, with blessings, of course. So you don't feel the effects of those misfortunes so much as you would normally feel. Thus creates beautiful human beings out of you. Some people have hankering after money. Some people think they can make money by coming to Sahaja Yoga. Some people think they will become leaders, or some think they will have fame. Some think that they will achieve a kind of a very dominant position, and some think that they can befall me also. It's high time we realize that Sahaja Yoga is not for this. Sahaja Yoga is for making you the wisest person, the sanest person, the most generous, and the most confident person in the world. Because you have to fight. You have to fight the dark ignorance of Kali Yuga, of ages which is precipitated, and today we see all the bad effects of it. Whatever you may call it. You may call it the fanaticism, you may call it the atheism, any isms of any kinds, and all these human projections which have created all those artificial webs have to be broken. But human beings on the whole believe that these artificial webs are real. So to break that, you have to also be careful that you don't break the human beings. While you are breaking their false faiths, you have to remember that those people who are carrying those false faiths are the ones who have to achieve self-realization. It's a very delicate work, it's a very hard work, it's a very harsh work, but it is the most detached work. And when we realize that we are so important, that God has blessed us with this peace, with this understanding, with these powers, it's not only for our own gain, because God is not only for you, He is for the whole world. So we have to utilize them, we have to spread them, work it out at every level. We have to become dynamic about it. But the most important thing is the responsibility of Sahaja Yoga we have to take. We are Sahaja Yogis, and we are responsible for Sahaja Yoga. What have we done for Sahaja Yoga? We looked after our family, our children, our jobs, our this, our that, motor cars, our horses, our dogs, our cats. But who is responsible for Sahaja Yoga? When it comes to that point, we are responsible for Sahaja Yoga. Then it works out. But there is a deliberate action also of the negative forces. And this negativity is acting through ignorant people who believe that they are right. They don't know what is waiting for their destruction there. Especially among our young people, you will find they just join any party, join any club, join any methods, any trend, anything, just because they have no understanding as to what they have to be. They have to be the spirit. I asked the other day a president of a young organization, what is your policy? He said, we have no policy. They started looking here and there and said, we have no policy. I was amazed that they have no policy. No, whatever our leaders say, we do it. So to get people out of this kind of slavery, that they have no brains of their own, they can't use their own understanding, they have to become the spirit. Shivaji, who was a great Atma Sakshatkari, a realized soul, for the future he is given the message, he said Swadharma Jagavava, means enlighten your dharma of spirit, Swadharma. The spirit has to be enlightened. Everybody has said that. I am specially quoting him because he comes from Maharashtra. Apart from that, he was a political head. Though he was a political head, but because he was a realized soul, he said that your spirit should be awakened. He didn't talk of all other nonsensical things. And he knew that unless and until the spirit is awakened, people will be doing all kinds of wrong things. And that is why today we find all over the world the mess in which all political parties, all economic endeavors, all military endeavors have fallen into. So it is for us to take over and to show them what is an integrated life and what is the strength of a human being. Because the Shakti is within everyone. Just praying to Shakti, just talking about Shakti, it doesn't act. But this divine Shakti has to act and act through you people. Just try to realize that within these few years, how much knowledge you have got. How much you know. How deeply you know. You are not just passing slogans or talking, but you know it. You know what it is. I don't think I have attended to each one of you individually. But through your spirit only, you have come to know all the knowledge about yourself and knowledge about others. You didn't have to go to any library, you didn't have to go to any university. All the saints never went. None of the saints went to any university or read any books. But how knowledgeable they were because they were the spirit. So the first and foremost responsibility of a Sahaja Yogi on this day is to be the spirit. On the day when we are celebrating the birthday of Christ, who was the spirit. So this is our greatest responsibility, first to see that are we the spirit or we are this body, this mind, this ego. What are we? If you have achieved that state, then you are, as they call in Marathi, samartha, means you are equal to your name, that you are the spirit. If you cannot achieve that, then you are a half-baked Sahaja Yogi, not yet done. As you know, we have no organizations, no memberships, nothing. But we have one thing, that we know we are realized souls. That we know more than all others know. And that we are not proud of it. We are very humble people. But this humility should not become a stagnation or a lethargy within us that now we are realized soul, let us sit on a tree and have our blessings. You have to get to the roots. And you all have to work it out on your level. But first get rid of your own personal problems, all petty things that you have. When we talk of sacrifice, as you know in Sahaja Yoga, I have not known what sacrifice people have done. You have to sacrifice your ego. which is a headache to you and to me. And you have to sacrifice your conditioning, only two things, left and right. And that can be achieved, and many have achieved. But now put that detached personality to a test. And then once you are sure that you are detached, then employ your energy in doing constructive improvement of this whole world. It will work out for poverty, it will work out for politics, it will work out for economics, it will work out for every field of life. Sahaja Yoga is the only solution, because in this human beings are transformed. It's not like this that one person changes the address or the badge that he's wearing and he becomes something else. Or from church to temple and temple to church. It's something within that transforms you, makes you knowledgeable. So you are already Satchidanand because you know the truth. You are in joy and your attention is enlightened. With all this that you have, what are we to do now? If you enlighten the light, it automatically knows that it has to give the light. In the same way, all the Sahaja Yogis have to take the responsibility for this great war we have started. It's not the war with swords or with atomic energies, because they are all destructive. This is the war against all the destructive powers through the power of love, which is constructive, which constructs human beings, which constructs societies, which constructs countries and the whole world. That is your own. And also this decision has to be your own. Even if I give big lectures and say things, it may not have any effect whatsoever on you. It might be just wasted. If you haven't got the capacity to imbibe what I am saying, so important, so imminent. Now give up all the worries you have about your small little things of your family, of your work, your factories, of your business, of your official positions, and just know that everything has to go through Sahaja. Even the cooking I do it through Sahaja. If the fire is not working, just put your hands to the fire, it becomes all right. If the rice is not cooking, put your hands to the rice, it cooks. Anything going wrong anywhere, you can use your vibrations. But I don't know what to use to make you feel responsible for such. That now we've got such a great thing with us, and what are we going to do about it? You get into the domain of your spirit. You give up your domain. That is your ego's domain, or maybe your superego's domain. You give up that and try to see things how it works out. Now, what is the testing point of it? How do you test it? It works out. That's the point of testing. It works out. Allow it to work out. Don't put your attention. Attention has the second part of it, the tension. And don't try to say, why not today? It should have happened today. We expected it to happen. Why not at this moment? That's your ego. Thy will be done. So the thought that starts moving in our mind all the time, which creates tensions, is not the thought of the spirit. So, what you should say? Not this thought. Not this thought. Yan neti neti vachanai nigamo avochus. Not this thought, not this thought, not this thought. And see how you relax. Now you are relaxing. Not this thought, not this thought. Just go on refusing, accepting any thought. So you go into nirvichara. In that state, you feel the spirit. Christ has done the greatest work on this, I should say, but we do not understand because his life was like a micro thing. See, in 3 years. So we have to open it out a little bit and see what he did. He has given us the greatest weapon of forgiveness. When you forgive a person, what do? You accept the situation to begin with. And secondly, you forgive what you think has been done wrong to you. But because nothing can be done wrong to your spirit, you just forgive because you are the spirit. And when you forgive, you have found that your tension goes away. So even to your thoughts, if you say, all right, forgive this thought, because thought is also not to be punished. Forgive this thought, forgive everything. Not forget, forgive. Because then you will even forget that you are the spirit. But forgive all the thoughts that are coming to me. Just go on saying this is a mantra. What is a mantra? Is that power of the word that expresses spirit. So this is a very important thing Christ has given us, the weapon of forgiveness. Everybody has that weapon. Everyone can use that weapon. You don't have to put in any effort for it. You don't have to pay for it. It's just you have to say, I forgive. You will be amazed, your nerves will soothe down. This tension, this pressure of these modern things will be reduced if you go on saying, I forgive them. For example, you go and see some sort of if you happen suddenly to see something very filthy according to the spirit. Maybe it is very exciting according to normal human beings, but we are abnormal people. And for us, if we find it rather ugly, then the best thing is to get over is to say, I forgive. Because they are ignorant. They are blind. They are not yet there where I am. I am the one who is at the source of enjoyment, at the source of peace, and while these are not, so I forgive. And you'll be amazed that this forgiveness that Christ gives you works out. Vichara Shaithilya is the relaxation of the thought. Now this opposite movement that you have to move, first of all, should start at this point today from forgiving others. Now, what happens when you forgive someone? That means you do not react. The power to react to somebody's injuries, insults, is finished. And when that power is finished, you become a powerful person. Because nobody can now overpower you. Because nobody can kill you. Nobody can hurt you. Nobody can do anything to you. But it is not, again, I'll say, shamelessness. See, people can think that it is shamelessness. So, if somebody says to you something harsh and something that is wrong, you do not accept it. So, in Sahaja Yoga, one has to understand that it is just the central path, is just the balancing thing which is important. Is not an extreme of anything. Like when we go to say that you must forgive everyone, is not going to that extreme where you have done some wrong and somebody says to you, you don't take that part of it. It doesn't mean that. Again, discretion is the engine of your movement. So you have to see that if they have said it, something like that, is it, have I gone against the spirit? So they say Merry Christmas is enjoyment for joy. Out of peace comes the joy, the light of joy, the happiness. I wish peace for the whole world, for the whole nation. To understand, to give up all the strife, all the false battles for money and for power. All wrong ideas that they are different from each other and come under the banner of Sahaja Yoga and enter into the kingdom of God, where they are invited with all respect and love. I wish peace to all of them, to all the countries, all the human beings, in their families, in their hearts, with their children, with all of them. Let there be peace. Let their heart emit peace, their tongue speak with peace, their eyes see nothing but peace. All this has to change. Tremendous change has to take place. The whole universe has to take a different turn. All that is hatred, hateful, ugly has to vanish, and the peace has to prevail. It is not the peace of the dead, but peace of the living. That has to come, of the body. I bless all of you to be the channels of that peace, to be beautiful channels of that peace, to be glorious channels of that peace, to be great children of your mother, who is so proud of you. May God bless you.
Samhita Tvameva Tantu Sasaka Tameva Tameva Vibra Praminam Tameva Tameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Sasami Kriyante Shamaya Dasavati Brahmatva Shamasva Parameshwari Shamasva Parameshwari Shamasva Parameshwara